Welcome to Channel's Business Globe with me, Juliana Olayinka, reporting from just outside the Palace of Westminster in central London, where global power, policy and markets intersect. Coming up on today's show, Andy Burnham travels to Kyiv on his first visit to Ukraine as Prime Minister, chairing the coalition of the willing alongside France and Germany, pledging unwavering support for Ukraine and announcing a landmark missile technology agreement. Britain's new Prime Minister on the world stage, and Nigeria's 2027 presidential election campaign is now officially underway. What will decide this election? The economy, security, personalities, or the performance of the current administration? And what role can Nigerian diaspora in Britain play? I speak with political analyst Godson Azu. Then later, Harry and Meghan return to England after 6 years in California. The Nigerian Schools Foundation brings community, commerce and culture together in London, and an exclusive report from Africa Fashion Week London. But first, on Monday, Prime Minister Andy Burnham made his first visit to Ukraine since taking office, travelling to Kyiv to co-chair a meeting of the coalition of the willing, alongside French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, with President Zelensky also present. The meeting marked the 35th anniversary of Ukraine's independence. Leaders condemned Russia's escalating strikes against Ukrainian cities, critical infrastructure and civilians, including an attack that damaged a children's hospital in Kyiv the previous week. The coalition confirmed that coordinated action has deprived Russia's war chest of at least $495 billion since February 2022. Burnham urged Ukraine's allies to send more interceptor missiles to Kyiv as Ukraine struggles under continued aerial bombardment ahead of winter. The visit produced a concrete military commitment. Britain will permit defence company MBDA to release classified information on British-made components of the long-range Scalp missile, allowing France and Ukraine to move forward with domestic Ukrainian assembly of the weapon. Ukraine in turn handed over what officials described as a goldmine of battlefield data to help bolster British security. Burnham also confirmed he is planning to travel to New York in September for the United Nations General Assembly, his first visit to the United States as Prime Minister, where he intends to lobby President Trump on support for Ukraine's defence, alongside other European leaders. Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, have returned to the United Kingdom 6 years after stepping down as working royals and relocating to California. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, along with their children, Prince Archie 7 and Princess Lilibet 5, flew into Birmingham Airport shortly before midday on Wednesday. A spokesman for the couple declined to comment on their movements, citing privacy and security concerns. The children are already enrolled at a school in the United Kingdom and are due to start next week. The family are expected to enjoy an extended stay in Britain, with the choice of Birmingham Airport fueling speculation that they intend to base themselves in the Cotswolds. They plan to retain their home in Montecito, California as well. The return comes after years of uncertainty. King Charles was informed of the family's plans only 4 days before reports of their arrival emerged. The couple stepped down as working royals in 2020, meaning they no longer carry out official royal engagements. The Invictus Games, the sporting competition for injured military personnel founded by Harry, takes place in Birmingham next year. Nigeria's presidential election campaign is now officially underway. As of Wednesday this week, campaigning for the January 2027 vote has formally begun, and the stakes could not be higher for Africa's most populous nation and largest democracy. President Bola Tinubu is seeking a second term, facing the same principal challenges as 2023. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, now of the African Democratic Congress, and Peter Obi of the Nigeria Democratic Congress. The 2023 election was the tightest since Nigeria returned to multi-party rule, with President Tinubu winning a three-way race by a narrow margin. Atiku's bid to unify the opposition ahead of this contest collapsed months ago, a development that has significantly strengthened Tinubu's position. Tinubu's pitch rests on his economic reforms, the removal of the fuel subsidy, the unification of the exchange rate and the restoration of investor confidence. I've been speaking with political analyst Godson Azu. Mr. Godson Azu, thank you so much for joining me on Channel's Business Global. So this week, Nigeria's 2027 presidential election campaign got officially underway. Some would say the election will be fought on the economy. Some would say insecurity. What would you say?
Thank you very much for having me this afternoon, Juliana. It's my great pleasure being with you at this show. I would say that the 2027 election, just like you said, is going to be based on the economy and security. Okay. Those are the key elements. Those are the key factors that will determine how the electorate will going to be reacting at the polling stage during the 2027 election. Most importantly is the fact that we need to be able to try as much as we can to ensure that information dissemination. And
what do you mean?
The way we use social media to circulate information during this period whereby they're about to start the open door campaigns in Nigeria for the elections.
What are your concerns?
My concerns about social media is when we look at what happened. We look at the campaign before the election. It was very, very severe. You look at the campaign election before the election. It was very, very severe. There were lots of atrocities, a lot of inhuman activities that went on. So these are like subnational state elections that came up with all these questionable characters, questionable incidences during the campaign period. And we're talking about now the general election, which is more larger in terms of numbers, in terms of reach, in terms of the reach and the geopolitical expansion. And Nigeria has not got very unlimited, will I say unlimited or limited resources for security reasons. The security personnel we have in Nigeria cannot cover the entire population of Nigeria. So when we look at the concern of some of us here now is about how are they going to manage, recognizing the fact that the insecurity at the moment, even without a general election or general campaign, is very, very severe. And so when you have a campaign where people now have to go to areas where they are not used to go, or campaigning on a public space, and you are not too sure of the people around you, you are not too sure of the travel limitations in terms of road travels, the river travels or whatever. And so the campaign is very, very critical. If the campaigns go well and there are less atrocities, there's less violence, there are less death occurring during the campaigns, then we may likely have a little bit more reasonable and a fairly conclusive election in 2027. But the focus now is about how can the government of today manage the economy for the greater good of the Nigerians. How can they be able to reduce the insecurity situations in Nigeria, not just only in one region of the country, but across the board, because insecurity is everywhere. If it's not good in the north, it's going to also have a diverse effect on the south. If it's not good in the east, it's going to have a diverse effect in the west. So we need to get the government to work hard on those areas as much as that's what I think.
You made some very crucial points that open in a can of worms in many areas which we can't go into, but hopefully as the months go on, we shall certainly invite you back to address some of those allegations you put out there. Let's talk about political momentum and the main parties, what's at stake. What is your appetite for quite a fiery campaign?
Yeah, I think the problem I found with the political parties is that we have a very, will I say, propaganda party in government. Party that knows how to use propaganda to have his way through the people.
Every political party
should have a propaganda machine. Well, they have a good spin, doctors that are spinning things for them, which is very good for every political party in power. You need to know how to spin messages. You need to have.
Were you impressed at the campaign list?
They are doing the best they can. But the fact is that it's the people It's the people that matters now, because no matter what the parties do now, it's about the people. Are the people going to be carried along by the party? Are the people following the party according to what the messages they are putting across? For APC, I think they're already there. People know what they can deliver. People are aware of what they cannot deliver. People know what they have been able to do. The fact now is about what can NDC and ADC, I mean all this APC, ADC, NDC.
You've missed out the PDP.
I don't know if the PDP is still existing. I'm too sure they have they're existing on paper, but I'm not sure if they are still existing in terms of structure. Unfortunately, they have allowed themselves to be ruined by one man. But unfortunately, I don't know if they'll be able to recover from that.
Do you think that's the story of most of the opposition parties, that they're a party on paper, but just without the structure that they need to take on the Jagaban?
You can analyze that from the two last elections, from Ekiti to Osun.
Yeah.
You can understand from the outcome of the election. If you look at the numbers, you realize that ADC, NDC, which are supposed to be a coalition of a party to really challenge the APC, but didn't do very well. They were not impressive in the terms of numbers in Ekiti. They didn't do very well in Osun. They didn't very. So people are skeptical. Are they really preparing for this election? Because election is about number. It's about strategy. It's about your power of manipulation. Like I said, propaganda is the best users of those propaganda tools, to spin the people's mind and to get them to follow you, to vote for you, to acknowledge the kind of political interest you are building in that political geopolitical zones or geopolitical environment. But if APC is way ahead in those key elements of political discourse or political engagement, then ADC need to wake up. They need to wake up. ADC, NDC, PDP, I'm not too sure. Well, Accord is like ABGA, and I hope that they will survive longer as ABGA has survived, because I think politics.
Well, I'm sure Accord take that as a compliment. They've got a governor. Let's talk about the diaspora, of course. Does the diaspora have a seat at this very, very, very high table?
The diaspora have a seat because we contribute at least roughly about 40,
away from remittances.
No. I'm not saying remittance. I'm talking about the contribution we make to Nigeria, irrespective of remittance, in terms of social and human capacity development. The diaspora has contributed a lot to the Nigerian society, the Nigerian government. There's hardly any government in Nigeria today that doesn't have a diaspora representation. Somebody from the diaspora that is trying to help them out in some certain policy arrangement, and certain developmental strategy. So the diaspora has a lot to play. We are here. We control a lot of the numbers of the votes in Nigeria. We may not be able to vote, but we control a lot of voters in Nigeria. From what we do to support the family and friends. Yeah. So for personally myself, I can advise you that I have at least 100 people I can send messages here to say, look,
more
when you're
that.
going to vote.
You're being modest. You're a modest man.
And also we I mean, myself and others, we're creating a lot of platform for the political parties to come over here, speak to Nigerians in the diaspora, encourage them to support them back home and talk to their family members and friends. So, and one of that platform is the London Political Summit, which we're putting together. And we're not only for Nigerians, we're putting it together for almost all the African countries. Last time we were with the Gambian ambassador. The Gambian is having an election in the next coming in December, and we have Kenya coming up almost same time with Nigeria. So the diaspora has a lot to do or to play in trying to shape and transform the political landscape, political environment, the democratic agenda of African countries, most especially Nigeria. And that is why the political people in Nigeria and Africa should take serious recognition of their diasporans, especially when they are available to support what they are doing back home.
We're running out of time. Between now, September, we could say September, and January, any predictions?
You see, obviously, looking at what happened in Osun, if that should happen, repeat itself in at least 15 to 20 states in Nigeria, then APC,
Well, how likely
APC is going to
that?
be in trouble.
Still to come on Channel's Business Global, celebrating Nigeria's diaspora through sport and community. I speak with Wale Samuel ahead of the Nigerian Schools Foundation's Sports and Family Fun Day here in London. And Africa Fashion Week London marks its grand finale, bringing designers, creativity and African fashion to the heart of the British capital. All of this after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Channel's Business Global with me, Juliana Olayinka, reporting from just outside the Palace of Westminster in central London, where global power, policy and markets intersect. Still ahead, Africa Fashion Week London celebrates its grand finale, showcasing the designers, businesses and creative talent taking African fashion to a global audience. But first, Britain's Nigeria diaspora and an event bringing together community, culture and commerce here in London. Britain is home to one of the world's largest and most influential Nigerian diaspora communities, increasingly visible across business, education, the professions and public life. And this weekend, the Nigerian Schools Foundation UK is bringing that community together for its annual Sports and Family Fun Day, taking place at Newham Leisure Centre on Saturday. The event combines sports, food and entertainment with something increasingly important, creating stronger connections between Nigerian families, professionals and businesses in Britain. Kemi, Wale, thank you so much for joining me on Channel's Business Global. So this weekend, the NSF has positioned Family Day as far more than I would say it's being advertised. What's the wider mission of the organisation and what role does the Nigeria diaspora play in that?
Thank you very much, Juliana. Thank you for having us. Yes, NSF has been going for approximately 14 years.
Wow.
And we've had about a 2 years hiatus of not having it. It's been missed by the community. It's more like a Nigerian day, so it's like a Nigerian day in London.
Quite competitive, I think.
Yes. So we're going to have lots of like fun events. We'll also have the corporate sponsors. We'll have exhibition stands. We'll have groups of alumni associations competing. It's like our own mini Olympics on the day. We started off London 2012. We've kept it going for like 14 years now, apart from the COVID years. So it's something to look forward to. Also, we're going to be streaming it live global so people can join in. People have connections back in Nigeria, those that are here as well. And also it's an opportunity for the younger ones, that grew up here. They haven't had this kind of passion and commitment in the Nigerian community space, so that they can see that in action. And that's why it's quite important that we have it.
Absolutely. Kemi, I think we're showing the viewers now some images and footage of previous years. I said it gets quite competitive, but honestly it's like a reunion of some sort. You've got old schools competing, you've got family groups. Tell me why you think that's important for the diaspora community, because some of us do feel quite disconnected from back home.
Thanks for that question. It's absolutely brilliant. So yes, the competition side of things is immense. We're talking of catching the train. It is a landmark event. You have like mixed ones where the men actually dress up in the female outfits and the females dress up in the male outfits, and they are running 100 meters.
Sounds
to catch
very
the train.
must I say.
Yeah, to catch the train.
And
the other one that is really, really important is the march past.
Oh my
Each
goodness.
school is so competitive.
They've been preparing for
They've
it
been
now.
preparing for it for months and months.
Yeah.
So so those are the two landmark ones, and as you said, it is really important that you meet lots of friends that you've not met in a long, long time. So it's absolutely brilliant.
No, that's true. Wale, you mentioned you've got corporates behind you. That just shows how important it is, because away from the fun, I know that you've put in so much work into the NSF. I want you to talk to us a bit more about its origins. It began, as you said, 14 years ago when the Olympics came to London, but you've kept it growing, haven't you? And now you have a lot of corporate sponsors involved because they want to be closer to that Nigerian community in the UK, who we know we're worth billions of pounds.
Yeah. As you said, we started 14 years ago, London 2012. We started very small. We got 500 people in an open park. Now we have it in stadiums. We used to have it in Saracens Park. Now we have it like we're moving to this new venue at the New Leisure Center. The event needs money, to make it happen. We have to subsidize the tickets, so we have all kinds of income streams. Definitely, we need the corporate sponsors. Those that want to target the Nigerian community. Yeah. So not only, those that want to, that have something for the Nigerian community that wish to support us should come and do that as well. And we've kind of like been community advocates for the Nigerian. We're the largest network of Nigerian diaspora in the UK.
Wow.
So if anyone wants to engage with the Nigerian community, they tend to come to us. We've done work with the Home Office. During the COVID hesitancy, for example, we had the minister come to talk to us. The minister
Sajid
of vaccine.
Javid, I remember that.
He came down, he talked to us. We had the top scientists come down as well. Office of the National Statistics, we've done some work with them. The Home Office, we've done some work with them as well on Windrush when they wanted to target Nigerians. So we're always saying that anytime, if it's like non-religion, non-political, secular type thing, we are the largest network. We're quite interconnected. We have about nearly 50 schools, associations, people that secondary
The competitive ones.
The competitive ones. we have them, they'll be there. And apart from that, they also have their little network. So that's how we connect together. We're quite huge.
And finally, Africa Fashion Week London has celebrated 16 years of putting African design on the international stage. Founded in 2011 by Queen Ronke Adimiluyi Ogunwusi, the platform has grown into one of the world's longest running showcases dedicated to African and African-inspired fashion. Over the past 16 years, more than 3,000 designers and creatives have passed through the platform, with over 90,000 visitors, including buyers, retailers, media and industry professionals. Designers representing 26 African countries have also taken part. This year's anniversary edition was its most ambitious yet. Under the theme Design Beyond Borders, the week-long programme combined runway shows with industry talks, workshops and a partnership with the British Council's Creative DNA programme.
I'm the matron of Africa Fashion Week, London and Nigeria, and I've been coming for 10 years. She made me matron even before I became First Lady. So it's been important to support her over the years. And all the time I try to dash in just to catch the London show, and then we prepare for Nigeria in December. It was a wonderful show, as you saw. And I'm supported here tonight by the First Lady of Yobe State.
Talk to me about Kwara State's specific involvement with this year's show.
I've been involved with this and Kwara Ashoke for a long time. We did Fashion Week New York with Kwara Ashoke with Queen Ronke, and then also we've participated this year with, I don't know if you know, Dimeji Laurie. Dimeji Laurie, is a Kwara designer, and I introduced Style by BKDY. She's from Kogi State but married to Kwara, and she's done a fantastic capsule collection this year. So we had quite a showing in Africa Fashion Week this year, and I've asked some First Ladies to also come and see what Africa Fashion Week's about, and so that they can join us and also sponsor some of their artisans, some people that make clothes, weaving. We're talking these days about Ashoke, we're talking about Akwete, we're talking about, Ankara, we're talking about all the fabrics that we do in Nigeria, and then all our fashion designers. They're all doing an amazing job. I'm wearing tonight, styled by BKDY, the one that did the cap.
We saw you on the runway.
Thank you. And I was so happy to support her this year. Yeah, thank you so much.
Your Royal Majesty, African Fashion Week 2026 has finally come to an end. Talk to me about what's going through your mind right now.
Gratitude, We've come this far. 16 years of showcasing African fashion, consistently showcasing African fashion, providing a platform for African designers, to thrive, and also to thrive commercially as well, because commercial sustainability is very, very important. Yes, we like the glitz, we like the glamour, but we also like the business side of African fashion.
16 years is a long time. What's changed so much from when you started in 2010 to 2026? What are the biggest differences you can see in the sector?
Over the past couple of years, we've had organizations like the British Council, the Bank of Industry, Canex, Kwara State and a few other states from Nigeria. We had the Kingdom of Lesotho as well. So I think now a lot of organizations are seeing that African fashion is not just about the heritage, it's not just about the culture, but it's also about business as well. It's also about putting our designers on the global map. It's about enabling them, to be sustainable financially, financial sustainability.
Well, sadly, that's all we have time for today, but as always, do get in touch with your comments and suggestions. I'll see you at the same time next week for more in-depth business analysis on Channel's Business Global. Goodbye.